Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Red Devil Experience. Manchester United 3, Nottingham Forest 2 on our final game of the season at Old Trafford. Listen, it was a game that had everything. It had everything. Back and forth, loads of goals, end-to-end stuff, exciting stuff. The only thing it didn't have was control, really. But listen, Bruno breaking or tying the record for most assists in a Premier League season. Casemiro, his final game of the season, at home for Old Trafford. At least he's got one more left, but it was his final game, the last time we'll see him play at Old Trafford. So a little bit bittersweet there. But overall, it was a really good game of football in terms of excitement and back and forth and stuff. We'll obviously break it down, get into the full context of the game. Michael Carrick having some words at the end of the match. That's why we took a little bit to start, because I was listening to what Michael Carrick and others were saying to the Old Trafford crowd and to the fans around the world. So, no confirmation yet of Michael Carrick officially being the Manchester United manager, although all indications and reports will be that it will happen soon. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. Please make sure that you're smashing the like button. Smash a like for the 3 points today. Smash a like for Manchester United cementing third place in the Premier League after finishing 15th last season. Smash the like button for Michael Carrick and the job that he's done, and the lads, because they also deserve credit. Obviously, they're the ones on the pitch getting it done, and Michael Carrick has come in and done a fantastic job. Well, I don't, where do we really start? Listen, I think we're going to be talking a little bit more about some circumstances than the actual match itself, but we could talk about the match itself as well. But I mean, I just want to start off by saying, thank you to Uncle Casemiro for everything that he's given us. Listen, we did pay a lot of money for him, and we do pay him a lot of money per week. But I think since he's come into this club, number one, he's fully embraced it. This wasn't like some sort of, like in the past, we've seen some players come here and, they've came solely for the paycheck, and they didn't buy into the club. They didn't give anything back to us. They didn't produce for us. They didn't give us, anything sort of worth any of the money that we were paying them. That's not the case, and it's not the case, I should say. He came in and he really bought into Manchester United, and he became a Red, and it's bittersweet to see him go, because we're celebrating Bruno, we're celebrating the job that Carrick's done, and the lads that they've done throughout the season, and especially coming off last season, and and today was the last day that we'll see Casemiro play at Old Trafford, and so it is a bit sad. Box is here. Renoso's here. What's up? I'm alive. Yes, I'm alive. Lucky is here as well. What's up? Box has great game, very entertaining. Could have been 10-6. Yes, I think that was, listen. And when people say, what is the Manchester United way? I mean, that is a bit of the Manchester United way. I think we would like to have a little bit more control in the game, right? But listen, it was entertaining. It was end to end. We were very, direct. We were very, we played very quickly. We played with intent, and we scored some goals. And we entertained the crowd, and we entertained, everybody watching, around the world. So, and we did it the way we usually do it. I think Carrick said it, and it was funny because I was thinking the same thing, and I always say it. And I think a lot of us always say it. We we did it our way, which is never the easy way, okay? Because in today's game, I mean, like Box is saying, it could have been 10-6. We could have scored a bunch of goals. Bruno could have broken the record already with the amount of chances, the type of chances we had. How we didn't score more than 3, I don't know. Forrest could have scored more than 2, but I mean, it was, it goes to 2-1. We score the third late in the game, and you go, all right, game wrapped up. Job well done, lads. And then, literally, what was it, like 45 seconds later, Forrest, Morgan Gibbs White. I mean, what a goal he scored. I mean, I can't even be mad today really about anything. Listen, it's sort of end of the season vibes. There's a little bit of concern still in the team, obviously, and things that we need to address going forward for next season. And I presume that Michael Carrick will be here. So, Michael Carrick's going to have to address, and him and the coaching staff. Because we do need, listen, one of the big things that was quite evident, obviously, is, and I already mentioned it twice, was that there is a lack of control. And the midfield, as much as Kobe and Cass are good and I rate them, it's something about the team, the way we operate. We get cut through the middle quite easily. So, this sort of midfield rebuild is only, basically, it's getting bigger by the day, because now that, the reality is setting in that Casemiro will not be here, and he is gone. And what we would like to go on to do next season, and what we would like to see from the team, and we would like to have a very good campaign, of course. This midfield rebuild thing is getting bigger and bigger because, Ineos have to get this right. And if they don't get this right, there's huge implications. There's huge implications for them. There's huge implications for our football club. There's huge implications for the players. There's huge implications for Michael Carrick. So, you thought you got pinched. Congrats on Bruno on equaling the record of creative freak of nature. Well, listen, we talked about it a few times, Box, this season. And, I think it's, we were talking about it a little bit over the season as the season was going on, but I think now that we're literally at the end, you could sort of look back and we could definitely confirm 100% that he has adapted. He's changed, Bruno. He's not the same Bruno he was, what is it, 5-6 years ago. He's not the same Bruno from 3-4 years ago. He is entrusting his teammates more. At the end, I think he went a little bit crazy. I think he went a little bit back to being Bruno, the original Bruno, in that there was a couple opportunities where he could have passed the ball. He started shooting. He took 1 or 2 wild shots, but for basically the whole season, he's really entrusted the players around him a lot more, which I think has benefited us as a whole. We've played better as a team. We've scored more goals. We fixed the front in the summer. I think he has a good relationship with all the guys up there in and around him. And you see that payoff on the pitch. And you see it pay off, in our matches, because, Bruno used to go a little bit crazy, a little bit tunnel vision. But now I think because he actually has a good rapport, okay, not only just, the quality around him, but also there's a good connection going on there. And we didn't really have that, a couple of seasons ago, 3 seasons ago, 4 seasons ago. We didn't have that. So that is a positive. And that is a place that we have improved. And that is a place that we have grown in. So, we have improved in some areas. There's some areas that are still lacking and that we need to get better in. But, for me right now, I guess looking at it sort of glass half full, if we improved in those areas, why can't we improve in the areas that we're still lacking? I mean, I think we can do it. We've shown that we can improve. We've shown that we've improved in certain areas, so we can improve in the other areas. We just have to, get some things done, put in the work, give it some time, and maybe we can actually get there. So, Box has 3 central midfielders, 2 fullbacks, a centre back, another attacker as well who can provide cover as number 9. Yeah, see, and again, I don't want to be like this guy because, it's like the final game of the season. I don't want to. I feel like I'm sort of picking on the guy, and I don't really want to be picking on the guy. But listen, for me, I've been saying Xerxes to me, he's just not he's not a striker. He's not a striker. I think he came in, he did well. Okay, he holds the ball up good. He can do the 1-2 passing and stuff like that, but it's the lack of clinicalness that he's missing. That I think we can do better in that department. We can get somebody that has that striker's finish. He doesn't have the striker's finish. He doesn't. And to the people that like him and want him to be the guy, I apologize to you. But he just doesn't. He doesn't have the striker's luck. He doesn't have the striker's finish. It just doesn't materialize for him. And I do think he would be better as a 10. We don't really have room for him at the 10. Now, some people will say we'll get rid of Mason Mount, but I don't think that's going to happen, and I think he's probably most likely to leave. And I do think, like Box is saying, a number 9 who could provide cover, and I think if we move Xerxes on, we got to get that guy in, and that's what we're looking to do. Lucky says that's why players more learn league this way. Well, listen. We have a big sort of. Wow, we got a lot of people, coming in a short time. Listen, we have a big thing next season going on. Because this season it was a bit. I don't want to say it was easy, but it was more simple. It was more simple. For the majority of the season, for a while now, we've been playing basically only Premier League. And I think that's probably the biggest concern that we all have in the fan base is that, next season is Champions League and we're excited to be back, but we're going to be back in all the cup competitions and it's going to be a much tougher season than this season. And, how are we actually going to handle that? And how are we going to fare? Because, it's going to be a lot more wear and tear. It's going to be a lot more matches. Not a lot of time basically on the training ground in terms of what we've had this season. So, are we going to be able to do what we got to do to succeed next season? I hope so. But I think first it starts with obviously the summer transfer window, and then we move from there. And then really, the way it is right now is now it's Ineos's turn. Now it's Ineos's turn. Now it's Omar's turn. Now it's Jason's turn. I think like Ruben said before he got sacked, you do your job and I'll do my job. And, whether people like that or not, I still think it right now it rings true. I mean, listen, Carrick's come in. He's done his job. Okay. The players have done their job. Now it is time for our hierarchy, for the people in charge of this football club running. It's their time to shine. Now it's their time to step on the pitch, do their job, get it done properly, give Michael Carrick and the team the best possible tools to do the job next season so that we can have a successful campaign. So it's their time to step up, and it starts with them, and they're setting the tone. Because if we don't have a very good window, we probably won't have a very good season. So we need to start with the summer transfer window. We have to have a good summer transfer window. And then it's over to Michael Carrick and the lads next season. Maybe another wide attacker as well we need, but realistically we're not going to get all we need. No. I mean, we can't get all what we need. But we need to get as much as we possibly can. We need to get listen, I asked for 5 last season for Ruben. I'll ask for 5 again for Michael Carrick. I think 5 is doable. I think 5 is proper. And with the amount that we need, and I do agree with basically, what Bach said. And I'm still going for 3 midfielders. I don't think we'll get 2 fullbacks. I think we'll probably get 1 fullback. I don't know if we'll get a center back, although it's not far-fetched to go for a center back. A backup number 9 or another number 9, and a wide player we do need this. Bach says we're gonna need our current players to step up and go again at another level next season, which is all part of the process. That's also true. And it is also a good point. I mean, listen, they did well, but to reflect on the current players, as Bach is saying, they do need to step up next season as well. They have to find, another level or two. From what they currently are, individually, but as a team as well, as a group. So, but I think that comes down more to, after the summer window, and also Carrick and the coaching staff have a part to play in with that as well. So, Lyle's here. What's up, Lyle? How you doing, buddy? I hope everything is good. Xerxes good first touch and good flicks, but lacks an all-around game. He would thrive in Eredivisie Portuguese. I think Xerxes could be good in the Serie A. I think Xerxes probably would be good in Serie A. I think if he goes to Serie A, I think, again, like another one of these players that we had. I think if he goes to Serie A, I wouldn't be surprised if he does pretty good over there. I think the Italian game would work perfectly for him. He does have a good first touch, and he's got good flicks and stuff like that. He's got a little bit of good sort of intuition on the pitch and during the play. But like I said many a times, we bought him for one manager and one sort of plan and one sort of system, and that's 2 down the line now, and we just need something a bit different, and it doesn't really, fit into the plans, so to speak, as far as I'm concerned. But you never know. Listen, there is this aspect. Okay, I think a majority of us probably agree to probably sell him, right? But there's always this little aspect in me that, you never know. We're United, okay? We're going to need depth. We need a bigger squad. He could maybe stay. Maybe they, Carrick and whoever else, if they so be it, want to, they could literally go to him and be like, listen, I know you didn't play a lot this season. It was a weird season. We played the least amount of matches. Next season's going to be a much fuller season. You'll get more opportunities. And they could keep him. Now, obviously, the reports have been saying that, he's going to go. But until that actually happens, I think we need to keep it a little bit of an open door, because we all expect him to go, but we've been here before. And many a times where we expect players to leave, or we think players should leave and they don't leave. So, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting summer, for sure. Lyle again sent 1 Red Devils Experience gifted membership. Thank you, Lyle. And that went to Evone, yes. So, congratulations, Evone. And thank you, Lyle. Again, you are the best, my friend. I appreciate you very much. Sorry, I skipped a couple people's stuff. Simon says, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon. It's good morning for me still, but good afternoon to you, sir. What an afternoon. 3 more points. Bruno equalized the assist record. A farewell to Casemiro and a bit of controversy about the second goal. Yeah. You think it was a handball? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to be quite honest. I don't know the rules anymore. You know what I mean? I don't know the rules anymore. I don't know what the rules are. I don't think they know what the rules are. So if they, if they're in charge of making the rules and officiating the rules and they don't know what the rules are, how am I supposed to know what the rules are? I don't know. I think in the past, for me, a lot of things, if it hits the hand, if it happens or the arm, and it affects, the movement of the ball and it leads to a goal, it's a handball. But I don't know the rules anymore. I don't know the officiating in anymore. So I mean, VAR has been an absolute disaster, and the officiating has been an absolute disaster throughout the entire season for basically every team. I mean, the whole league. So they have their own separate job they got to do. They need to fix their end. They need to clear up the rules. They need to get better. But I don't think they're getting better. I think on a little bit of a side note, I think the referees, I was thinking about this the other day because I think Paul Scholes mentioned it on his podcast, and I think somebody else was talking about it, that the refs aren't really reffing because of VAR. And I was kind of thinking about it. I'm like, think about when VAR was introduced, and think about sort of the degradation of quality of officiating. And I think it started going down when VAR came in. And as we continue to move forward with VAR being a thing, the reffing has gotten worse. So I think I might be stretching here a little bit, but I think there's sort of a direct correlation with that. So I don't know what we do with that. Mike Renoso says, for me, 5 would be an underachievement with the amount of money they're freeing up in wages with the sales and Champions League money. This should be massive. I don't allow them the World Cup in as excuse. Well, fair enough. I don't think the World Cup can really be an excuse because everybody's in the same situation, right? It's not just like we're the only ones that are affected by a World Cup. Everybody's in the same sort of situation. So it does make it tougher, just because of the congestion. But that's not really any excuse. We're Manchester United, and other clubs will do proper business. Like the World Cup won't really stop them from getting the transfers in. It's not going to stop Manchester City from doing all the business that they want to do. It's not going to stop Arsenal from doing all the business they want to do. It's not going to stop Liverpool from doing all the business they want to do. It's not going to stop the other clubs like Villa doing what they want to do. So it shouldn't stop us from doing what we want to do either. The reason why I say 5 is because I do really believe that while we are freeing up all this money, we only have still a certain amount that we can spend. And I don't think we can go over 250 million. And with signing 3 midfielders, the reports have been that we're going to spend 150 million on the midfield. And if we sign 3, it's going to be like 80 million for one player, 40 million for another player, and 20 million for a third player. You spend 150 on 3 players in central midfield, it leaves you over maybe 100 million. Now, we don't have the accurate number because Manchester United has weird finances and we still owe a shit ton of money on debt. And we're not even paying the debt. We're paying the interest of the debt. And also we still owe money for players that we've signed. I think we owe about some 400 million that we still have to pay. So we are freeing up money. We should be able to spend more money than last summer. We should have more freedom and we should be more attractive because we're in the Champions League. So I think we are more attractive. And we have European football that we can offer, and we finished 3rd, and we had a good season, good campaign in the Premier League at the very least. So we should be able to do that. But that's why I think, for me, I think 5 is probably the most that we'll probably do. 5 actual signings that are going into the first team. We might sign a couple youngsters here and there. If you want to count those in, you can. I never do because they're not going to have an impact for next season. So, Axe is here. What's up, Axe? Fox says, I wonder what youth players will Carrick look to phase into the permanent first team setup. He's bound to have a few in mind that he feels that he can take the next step. Yeah, I'm sure he does. It'll be interesting to see which ones it'll be. I don't have the slightest clue right now, but that's how I usually am with the youth anyway. Sort of surprise me. That's how I am. I know we have many fans that they watch the youth matches and they're very into that, and they're sort of their own scouts and stuff like that. I'm not really like that. So for me, it's more of just like, I'll wait till he calls them up. I'll wait till he picks one or two of them, and then when he does, show me what you got, kid. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, obviously, we have the JJ Gabriel down there, and I think we will see him probably at some point next season in some sort of a competition, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, something like that. We'll see. And then obviously some others. Shea Lacey was one that he played a couple matches this season. He obviously got the red card, and then we haven't seen him back. There was talk that he might go on loan, and I don't really have a problem with that either. Like, I'm all for giving the kids chances as well, but listen, if they determine that a loan would be good, I have no problem with loaning out the kids as well. It's good for them, and they need it, and it's a bit proper in my opinion. And we've seen some kids go out on loan this season, and they've done decently well out on loan, some of them. So if Shea Lacey goes out on loan, then Shea Lacey goes out on loan, and it is what it is. And wish him all the best, and hopefully he does well, and then he can come back to Manchester United after a good season, a bit more of a man, a bit more of a Manchester United player. So we'll see. Let's see. Last game, our bogey team and Welbeck, our bogey striker. Well, hopefully Bruno gets the assist record done. I really, really, really wanted him to do it today. Delo tried his best to do it for him. Dorgu could have done it for him. Xerxes could have done it for him. Literally half the team could have done it for him today. But didn't get it done. It was a crazy ending to the game. It was. There was even an opportunity. I think Amad Diallo was open, but he didn't pass it to him for whatever reason. And decided to shoot, which I was a bit surprised. He was going a bit crazy because I think Bruno at that moment in time, he really wanted to win that game. I think that's what that was at the end. Bruno started getting a little bit back to old Bruno. He started getting a little, crazy. A little bit more tunnel vision than he has been this season. And I think that was because Bruno was like, I think consciously Bruno was like, fuck the assist record. I got one more game. I want to win this match. This is the last match at Old Trafford. We didn't have European football. We've managed to finish third. Let's go out on a high in front of the fans. So I think he was like, we gave up a goal right after we scored. We want the cushion back. We don't want to draw this match. We don't want to blow this performance. We don't want to, get a point. We want 3 points on the final game of the season at Old Trafford. So I think that's what was happening, because I think he was trying to get it done. What else you guys saying? I remember last summer, Axe demanded Ineos board Vinicius, Jude Bellingham, and Mbappe. Well, you should see his list now. I'm sure he'll give it to you. Don't worry about that. Soon, the refereeing will be made by AI 100% like Galactic Football. Well, I argued that once upon a time. So, I did argue that once upon a time. I don't think people agreed with me on it, but I said, listen, get rid of VAR and just implement the full AI system. It's not bias. You just code in, Lyle knows. You could just code in code in the rules. It'll follow to a T. It'll be instant as well. And there shouldn't be any vibes of match fixing. But I don't know. Maybe I'm ahead of the curve on this one. I don't think fans really like the feeling of AI taking over the game in officiating. Palace 1-0 up against Brentford. What else do we got? What else? We would have won the APL by now had Ineos followed my transfer demands from last season. Yeah, but your transfer demands would never happen in a million years because literally, even if we had all the cash in the world, we can't get some of the players that you ask for because they will never come to us. So you asked for Lamine Yamal. We would never get Lamine Yamal in 10,000 years because he'll never leave Barcelona. So I don't know how you want to get him. A lot of mids out there to buy, many options. Well, that is the good thing. That is the one good thing, and there's a lot of good midfield options out there. Obviously, Elliot Anderson is one. He just played against us. He got a brilliant assist. But he's favored to go to City. But I do like the list of candidates that we have for next season. So for the summer. I do like the list. Usually we usually have like one really good target, and then the others you're like, yeah, I'm not really feeling them too much. But I do like the full list of players that we're sort of looking at, especially the ones for the midfield that has been linked to us. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of different options. Some are higher than others, but I think they're all pretty good quality. And I think if we manage to get 3 of them, we're gonna be stronger. We'll be better, and we'll be looking pretty good for next season. So, sincerely, now, the game wasn't good for us, but I am glad that they tried to control the midfield. The second part was more like basketball. Well, it was more like basketball. That was the one thing we didn't. There was no real control in the game. And it is an aspect that we need to look to, fix and address going next season. And I said it in the opening of the show. That is the big thing. This midfield rebuild is getting bigger by the day because, you watch that match and, you start thinking about, well, Cass is gone and Ugarte isn't help, and it's just Kobe there, and we have a little bit of an issue in the midfield in terms of we want it to be stronger. It's not as strong as we would like it to be. It's not as strong as we need it to be. So it's a massive thing. For our sake, on the football side of things, Ineos better not let us down. And then for Ineos' sake, they better not let themselves down because, I don't really want to go back to a place where things are very negative and everything is toxic and bad. And, we're sort of in a good place right now. Okay. It was a rough period under Ruben. Okay. A lot of controversy between Ineos and stuff like that. And, since Carrick's come in, all of that has pretty much gone away, and we're enjoying the team. We're enjoying our players. We're enjoying watching our games. Okay, there's still concerns there, but we're enjoying watching our games. We're winning. We're getting 3 points, and we've finished the campaign as best as we could to go from 15th to 3rd place, secure Champions League football. And we've gone as high as, we possibly can. And we can't go lower now as well, which is what I wanted. After we secured Champions League, I said there was one more job to do. And that was to make sure that we secured 3rd place because I would like to finish as high as possible. And we did that. We absolutely did do that. Fox says, we've been linked, rumored with Tonali Anderson, Warren Baleba, João Gomez, Scott, Mateus Fernandes, Hackney, Tuchemeni, Camavinga, Ederson, Stiller, Nemeka, Kamara, Buwadi, Sangare, Himland, and Smith. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You look at that list. Obviously, there's some players that are at the higher tier in that list, but they're all pretty good players. All around. So can't really complain. Can't really complain too much. I mean, it wouldn't be great. I think if we ended up with like Kamara, Buwadi, and Sangari, because that's like seems fairly high risk experimental. But if you sort of pick three and one from each tier, I think that that's very balanced. I think that will be good enough. I think we'll be all right. And then obviously, listen, uh, with the introduction of three players, I'm asking for three players. I'm shooting for three players. I think if they only get us two in the midfield, I think it's a shortcoming. I don't think it's enough. We need three. They should go get three. I think if we get three, um, you know, we'll be all right. But I think in the beginning, it could be a period where it'll still be messy. I'm not expecting it to go 100% particularly that well because you're getting in three midfielders. We need to build a new link and sort of a new chemistry between whoever's going to be playing with Kobe Mainu because I think Kobe Mainu is going to be starting. Definitely, at least the very least for next season. And I think whoever we buy, one of them is coming in to be the new partner and take over Casemiro's role. We got to build a new partnership there. They got to build a new understanding. And then these guys that we get in, they gotta gel, they gotta adapt. Obviously, it depends where we get them from as well. If we get a couple Premier League players, we don't really have to worry about them adapting to the league football. They just gotta adapt to Manchester United life and to their teammates. But that could still take some time. So there is an element of we don't really have time, but we're gonna have to try and do the best that we can throughout the season. I mean, we've seen it sort of in Sesko and a couple other players. Some players come and it takes them 4, 5, 6 months to really get going, to really be giving us what we sort of expect from them, or to be really having a great impact. And that could happen to one or two of them. Um, you know, but we'll see. We'll see. Axe, I will not have you disrespect Lyle. If you do it again, I will ban you for 24 hours, okay? And the next time you'll be permanent banned. You will not disrespect Lyle for no reason, alright? There's absolutely no reason why you should say never trust Lyle. He's a glazer. There's no reason. And I'm being nice right now because I should literally time you out for this. But I'm giving you a warning. Don't do it again. Rosa says FPA. Code AI to let a little violent tackle slide for old time's sake. Yeah. Literally, yeah. I'm okay. Not doing that again. Guarded Newcastle United says lucky. My father says that Carrick saved our season. We shouldn't be sad that we didn't win EPL. I mean, I'm not gonna be sad. I mean, we weren't gonna win EPL anyway. We were never gonna win the EPL. We're not gonna win the Premier League next season either. I'm telling you that right now. You could demand it all you want, but it's not gonna happen. So we're not there yet. Fox agrees. We should sign. We should bid 800 million for Yamal. Again, we need to transfer in Stiller, Coyote, Scalvini, Anderson, Camavinga, Yamal, and Smith. Well, listen, that's not even that far fetched. I mean, Scalvini ain't gonna happen because he ain't on the radar. And I don't even know what that guy is doing. All right, the football manager prodigy, but I don't know what he's doing in real life. But besides Yamal, take Yamal out. I mean, you could do it if you want, but yeah. Any three of them mids improve us, beefs up, and build strength, and depth. Yes, yes. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see where we go. We'll see where we go from there. Manuel Ugarte give 28.3 million when joins Newcastle United. Tushimeni going third signing. Well, we'll see, bro. We'll see. We'll see. Would you take Bowen? Experienced leader, can play left wing, center forward, right wing forward. I mean, I like Bowen. I like Bowen. I guess it would depend how much he would cost us. I think he's a good player. I wouldn't mind him. I'm not really too fussed on particularly specifically who we get. I'd like to get the players in. I think we have a good list of players. So I'm not like, I don't know. It's a bit hard for me to explain. I feel like in the past, I think like I said before, we always had like, there was like the one target was up here and then the rest were like down here. And it was like, well, if we don't get this guy, it's kind of pretty shit. Whereas like this window so far to who we've been linked to, I'm looking around and I'm like, all right, we got these guys. If we don't get that guy, we could get this guy. If we don't get this guy, there's that guy as an option. They're all, they're all good. Like, I'm not like too dissatisfied. Like if we miss out on this guy and we end up with that guy, I'm like, well, that guy is shit compared to him. Like, so, I mean, I do like Bowen. I don't know, what would he go for? You know, we need West Ham to be relegated to get a low price. Yeah, I mean, listen, he's experienced Premier League player. He is versatile, like you're saying. Sort of fits the bill. The only thing is that he's up there in age, sort of over the barrier in terms of what Ineos usually do. But I am a bit interested in that aspect as well. I think one thing that Ineos should not do, and I think would be a mistake, is if they go all fairly young. I think we can use somebody. I think we should be getting at least one or two players maybe that are like 26, 27, even a 28-year-old for me. Even a 29-year-old, really. I don't, I think we need to mix a little bit of experience and a little bit of already developed type of player into what we're going out to get, because I think we will get players that are, they're obviously a little bit more on the younger side, 21, 22, 23-ish. So I hope my one thing is I hope they don't buy all, if we buy 5 players, I hope they're not all like 21 to 23, because I mean, it might not be bad, but I do think that it would be better for us if we mix in a little bit more of somebody that's a bit more ready made, a bit more ready to go. So you will not abuse anyone. You will not abuse anyone. You will not. Agreed, Eric. Good list of targets, so it doesn't necessarily matter who comes. Yeah, I think it's just important we fill the positions box. You know what I mean? And we actually get the signings over the line, and we actually go out and we do, 5 transfers, in my opinion. I was saying 4 a couple weeks ago because that's what we did last season. And I was like, I don't know if we'll do 5, but I sort of changed my mind here because I think we need more than 5. We're not going to get more than 5. I think 5 is the maximum, and it's a big thing coming up next season. And I want Michael Carrick. Listen, he's going to be the manager, and he's staying here. I want him to do well. I want us to do well. So, like I always usually typically say, I'd rather get an extra than be shorthanded. So, I don't really want 4. I would like 5. Call me greedy. I don't know. I'd rather be a bit more over prepared than end up in some sort of situation next season where we sign 4 players and say, well, if we sign this guy, we'd have an extra player here. Maybe we'd be able to cope or manage, whatever difficulties we're facing next season. Because who knows? I mean, I know we haven't been live for a little bit. Delit just had back surgery. Okay, so we haven't talked about a couple things. I was a bit furious with that in terms of, I mean, I guess I calmed down after it, but I was a bit angry because I was like, I started going through all the emotions. I was like, he was supposed to be out for 2 weeks. It's been 6 months, and now it ends in surgery, in a back surgery. And obviously, hopefully, we wish him a speedy recovery, and hopefully this, whatever that actual issue was, hopefully it fixes it, and hopefully next season he's good to go. But I was just like, why? My initial reaction was like, we pissed about for 6 months to see if he could get over this, and he ends up with the surgery. Why didn't he just do the surgery in the beginning? But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, I guess the surgery is sort of a last resort thing. They didn't really want to do the surgery. He didn't really want to do the surgery. He was hoping that he can sort of overcome it without doing surgery, because surgery it's surgery. And there's a whole thing that comes with surgery. Once you do surgery, now he's got probably some time where he can't do any sort of physical activities for a certain period, and then once he can start doing that, he's gonna have to basically baby step it back to get to sort of full fitness. So I mean, it's unfortunate on that front, but hopefully whatever that actually is, or whatever actually was the problem, hopefully that solves it, and hopefully he can get over this and get past it. Like Box was saying, I'm really hoping this back surgery is key to fixing Delit. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, what it was. So, hopefully. Renosa says, I have some faith in the signing approach based off of last season with Mboma and Cunha being mid-20s Premier League players. Where they'll fall, where they'll fail is most likely quantity. Yeah. I mean, listen, I am quite positive on that front as well. I've said it many times. Because it's what I believe, what I see with my eyes. I do like what Ineos has done with sort of the transfers and the transfer business. The personnel we're going after, the type of players we're going after, with the character, with the attitude, coupled with the ability. And I do agree with you, Renoso. I think the one thing, the thing that scares me the most, the biggest concern that I have going into the summer window is the quantity of players. Because there has been many a times where we have expectations and we have demands. And I think most of them are pretty proper. And basically, I mean, I don't think most people are asking for anything crazy. I think we're like, listen, this is, we're asking for something doable. We're asking you to get 5 players in. I don't think that's something that's like, crazy. We're not asking 99% of us, 99.9% of us. We're not asking you to go get Lamine Yamal, all right? Except for Axe. We're asking you to sign 5 players. I don't think that's something that's like, oh, it's, monumental to how we're going to do such a thing. I mean, Brentford can sign 5 fucking players. So, why can't we? But I still have a bit of PTSD from last season because, again, that thing with Ruben, if we were going down that path, we needed to get in as many players as possible to change the team as much as possible. And we ended up with 4. I asked for 5. We could have used that 5th this season. We didn't have it, which was the midfielder that we ignored. So, maybe that concern isn't something that we need to really be concerned about because of this season compared to last season. Last season we finished 15th, so we weren't attractive in that way. We weren't in Europe. We lost the the Europa League final, so we had less money and we were less attractive. So maybe that's why we ended up before, and maybe this season, we can go and get the amount of players we need to get because we have more money, but also we finished third and we're in Champions League. So maybe that won't necessarily be a problem and we'll be able to, do to the fullest extent what we need to do. Happy letting Buemo Cunha get game, both these guys. We should block and Buemo move away. He should do 2 goals today. Doing really great. Well, Buemo's not going to go anywhere for now. That's for sure. Yeah, but we don't really care about that. Box. I don't know. We'll get 46 million pounds from my boy Hoyland. Well, we are getting that money, all right? Guys, please make sure you're smashing the like button if you didn't do so already. Please get that done. Massive help to the channel, massive help to the video. For those of you that have done, thank you very much. I'd like to get to a little bit of the side news right now. Some things that are coming out right now. We'll discuss them. And we'll keep an eye, because there is obviously the other matches going on. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Right now, just if you're interested, and you may not be watching, and you're listening to me, or maybe you're doing both, but Brentford is losing 1-0 to Crystal Palace. Everton and Sunderland are tied 0-0. Leeds, Brighton are tied 0-0. Wolves are winning 1-0 against Fulham. And then Newcastle and West Ham play later. And I will just say this real quick, sidebar, non-United thing. But I give respect to Wolves. Listen, they had the worst season you could possibly have. They've been relegated for the longest time, and they never stood a chance. But credit to that guy that came in. I don't even know his name, but credit to that guy that came in and is in charge there. And even to their players in the club, they've had absolutely nothing to play for the longest time, and yet they still have been going out there and trying the best and actually putting in performances, and not just like showing up on the pitch and getting absolutely destroyed. So I can respect that. I mean, listen, it's the last home game probably of the season, I guess, and they're playing Fulham, and Fulham's had is a better team than them and had a better season, and they're winning 1-0. They don't really have a reason other than pride and respect to the club. So I can appreciate that for them. But we do have some news. So let's sort of hit that. I'm going to try my best because there's things all over the place here. Michael Carrick, when asked about the Manchester United job, he said over the coming days there will be clarity of the situation. Today was about getting the right result. Whatever the news will be, I'm sure you'll get it in a few days. All right. I'm sure too. That's what we're all expecting. Manchester United are the only team not to lose a back-to-back game in the Premier League this season. Interesting. That's also with Bruno. Interesting stuff there. A Manchester United fan has said to Elliot Anderson, sign that contract, see you in June. Don't go to Manchester City, man. Don't go to that soulless club. This is a real club. Well, we'll see. I mean, whoever that United fan is, he's done his best. Maybe he's done more than Omar and Jason right there. I was kind of thinking about it today before the match, and I was like, you know what? It's a bit quite funny because obviously he's been made our priority signing, and it's been reported for quite some time now that Manchester City lead the race for that, and that he's most likely to end up there. But I was like, it's quite funny because it was like it's the second to last game before the end of the season, and he's coming to Old Trafford to play against us, and I was like, maybe it's a bit of a fantasy thing. Maybe it'll have no impact. But I was like, listen, he's coming to Old Trafford. It's not the first time he's played at Old Trafford, but I was like, he's coming to Old Trafford right before the end of the season, right before he goes to the World Cup. You go into Old Trafford, you play at Old Trafford, okay? You experience Old Trafford. Sometimes Old Trafford, the crowd and Manchester United. Sometimes it hits you. It affects you a little bit. And I was like, maybe he leaves out of there with a little bit of a feeling like, you know what, this place is special. Is special. Maybe it sways him a little bit. Or maybe it has no effect at all, and he's just like, nope, I'm going to City. I don't care. Um, my best chance to win trophies, and Pep is still there and stuff like that. So I'll probably and he'll be getting more money as well. So um, you know, I thought the thing that they gave Bruno at the end, I thought that was really cool. With the jersey in or the kit inside the case with all the photos of him throughout the years here. Um, you know, our Magnifico, our brilliant captain. He's been my favorite player. Since he's come here. I mean, I liked him. I was a fan of him before he came here. I was a fan of him when he was at Sporting. So he was sort of a little bit of a dream signing. Because at that time, I really wanted. I would have loved to sign Bruno Fernandes, and then it came out to be that we were going for Bruno Fernandes, and I couldn't believe it. And he's had just a brilliant, fantastic time here. Or definitely 100% our best player post Sir Alex Ferguson for the money we've signed him for, the impact that he's had, and I did say last summer that I would have sold him. Well, I ain't taking that back at all. But he's still here, and I'm happy he's still here. And now going forward, things have changed, and he needs to stay here. And we're lucky to have him. And I don't think he'll be going anywhere. To be quite honest, I don't think he'll be going there. I know there's a little bit of concern still, out there somewhere that he's gonna see his future and stuff like that. But I think going off of last season, with the decision that he made not to go to Saudi, his family is happy in England. He's happy. He loves the club. He wants to accomplish more with the club. I don't think that that's really changed. The fact that we've gotten back into Champions League, I think, is a plus for him to stay. And the fact that we've had a good season, he's had a brilliant season. Again, one more assist, which I really hope he gets it. I think he'll get it, but again, you never know in football. I really hope he gets it. He deserves it at the very least, because there's a big possibility he leaves this football club at some point without having a Premier League trophy to his name, which I think is, for a player like him, is a bit of a a disservice. It's a bit of a disservice, with a player of his quality, and how good he is. It doesn't feel right that, at some point, he probably very well will end his career. Won't be at Manchester United anymore, and won't have a Premier League title accolade to go with his name. Now hopefully that doesn't happen, but I mean, we haven't won one for over 13 years now. So and when we're gonna win the next one, nobody can really say. So you can hope and you can ask all you want, but who knows when it could actually be. So what else do we got? Well, Victor Pereira, who obviously has come in at Nottingham Forest, and is the manager there, um, was asked, "Will Elliot Anderson stay?" And he said, "This is an answer I don't have. The market is the market is the market. The market, everything can happen. What I can say to you is the club wants to keep him playing for us for sure." Yeah. Well, what I will say is, number one, everybody knows he's leaving. He's definitely not staying. Number two, Victor Pereira can't answer because obviously, if you know anything about Nottingham Forest, their owner will be the one to make that decision. So, um, obviously, they're gonna play this little game of we want to keep him. We would like him to stay. They know full well that he will be going. You know, he's either gonna end up at City or he's gonna end up at United. Either one, but he's not staying. They're gonna take the money for sure. They're playing this little cat and mouse game of, oh, we'd like to keep him so they could get the money. Once the offer comes on the table, that transfer will go straight through. So, you know, it is what it is. On that, he can win it next season. And listen, you could, if you want to think that that's fine, I don't believe that. I don't think I don't think we can win it next season. I think next season will not be like this season. In that he's had a very good run since he's come in. He's done brilliantly well, but I think when you start adding in the extra challenges of next season, and it's something that Michael Carrick, who is inexperienced as a manager, he's never dealt with this. Now it could still go good because there's always an opportunity to do such a thing, but I do expect issues, bumps in the roads, you know, some part of the season to go a bit turbulent. It's something that he has to navigate. He's gonna have to deal with a full schedule, playing 2 to 3 times a week, and also, you know, now we're competing in the Champions League. So I don't expect it to go super smooth next season. I do think that there's going to be some issues. I still think that we could still have a good season, but I think to add in all that stuff and then to go and win it, the team needs more improvement. And also, it'll change because it also depends on what the other teams do. You know what I mean? Like, if City go out and they spend like 400 million and they sign all these crazy players, like, you're going to be looking at our team, you're going to look at their team, and you're going to be like, yeah, it's going to be hard to beat them for a whole season. Arsenal are about to win it. All right. They're going to look to, you know, defend it. They're going to go and spend money as well. So, you know, I don't think we will do such a thing. I don't think we're anywhere close near to it in any sort of way right now. Like I say for basically every manager that's been here, you know, he's gotten here in January. We're going with him, so under his direction, it's another 2-3 year plan. So we got to make improvement going into next season, but I think if he's ever going to do it, it's going to be in 3 seasons. What else do we have? Um, yeah, I thought Casemiro was going to give us a little bit more of a speech. I was kind of laughing. I know English isn't his first language, so like, you know, it's not easy for him to really speak too much of it, but like they were like Casemiro was going to say a few words and he was just like, I'd like to start by saying the most important thing at this club is you, the fans. And then like I thought there was more coming after that, and then that was it. I was like, wait, I thought he was gonna give us a couple of sentences, not like one sentence. But it's all right. You know, listen, he doesn't have to say anything to us. All right, he doesn't have to. He didn't have to say anything to us. We know what it is. He did his talking on the pitch. We did our thing as fans. He knows he's well loved, well respected. We showed him that, and he did his talking on the pitch as a footballer. He doesn't have to say anything to us. He showed it time and time again. So, I knew you would be smiling. Who can leave? Who can leave, Chad? Michael Carrick has a 68% win ratio. 3 draws, 29 goals, 36 points, averaging 2.25 per game. Third in the league and back in the Champions League. Yeah, thank you, Michael Carrick. Thank you, Michael Carrick. I can't really give Ineos credit too much for that because he was never really part of the plan. I mean, they still had to pick between him and Solskjaer. And, I said at the time, go for Carrick. We already did Ollie. Ollie had his chance. He had his opportunity. Whichever way it went, for whatever circumstances is what it is. But I always say, I'm not a believer of going back. We did it once. No reason to go back, especially if it didn't end in some sort of success. And I said, just go for Carrick because it's new and we didn't do it before. And he's his own guy. And at least they did that. At least they got that right. And they did. They made the right decision on that. But really from there, I mean, it was all Michael Carrick and the lads. They did everything. They did everything. So yeah, he's not leaving. You know that, right? He's not leaving. He's staying. He needs to stay. He will be here. I have no doubts about that at all. And he's going to break the assist record, as he should. It was nice to see Cass's family on the pitch as well with him. Still very sad. Hopefully he cherishes that for the rest of his life. I'm sure he will. Tyrell Malacia is set to leave Manchester United when the contract expires this summer. Yes, thank you. We know that. He's got to be gone. He's got to be gone. So we do need a left back. Listen, it seems like Dorgu is now a winger. And this is the plan for him going forward under Carrick, and this is what they're gonna do. So with that in mind, we need a left back now, over the winger, because if Dorgu's gonna be the winger, we're not desperate for a winger in that case. We could probably, you could make an argument that we still need one, but we're not desperate for one. So that it does leave a hole in the left back spot, especially because Luke Shaw is still there, and you just don't know. You just don't know. With him next season, I mean, he stayed fit this season. Coincidentally enough, it's a World Cup year, okay, and he obviously wants to go play for England because he loves England, and he loves playing for the national team. So, the conspirators will say he's only managed to stay fit because he wants to be in the England squad and he wants to go to the World Cup. And then next season, there's no World Cup and there's no Euros, so he'll probably get injured again. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna need a left back. We're gonna need left back. So Bruno says I follow her. She's a super supportive wife, and is always at the game. She is. She is. She is, and I think she. I think I classified her as a good wife one time. Remember there was a bit of controversy. I don't know if you remember, Mike. Um, remember that little period where Cass was probably in his worst shape and he wasn't looking too great and he was getting a lot of criticism and people were really going in on him. And then I think his wife responded sort of with a photo of all the things he won, all those trophies and stuff. She said something, and I remember back at the time I was like, listen, I was like, I can't even really be mad at her. I was like, she's just being a good wife. I was like, she didn't even say anything wrong. I forgot exactly what she said, but the way she put it, I was like, it wasn't even like she wasn't even like disrespecting the people that were giving the criticism at the time. She wasn't disrespecting anybody or the fans. Um, she was just coming out in support of her husband. And I was like, you know what? It's a good wife. It's a good wife. A good wife. One more match to go. I wonder what we're gonna see in the next match, the last match. Because it is away from home, and basically everything is locked in. I mean, we can't go higher, we can't go lower. It's all pretty much done. I would like for next match, I would like to see Box talked about it, or asked about it. I would like to see the potential, maybe couple youth candidates that they're looking at. Um, I would like to see some of them come into the fray. I think there should be no reason like Terrell Malacia should be on the bench. Um, the next match, personally for me, I would be like, well, this season's done. We have one game. A couple of these players, whoever I don't have plans for, you probably won't be involved. Sorry. I mean, it's whatever. Maybe that's not nice and it's harsh, but like, there's no future in you. I would like to bring, maybe a couple of the kids, 2 or 3 of them, and I would like to see them play. You know, the next match is sort of a free hit in that regard, and why not? You know, why not? We haven't really been able to do it all season, really, and we didn't have the competition, and we didn't have the matches for it. So, and a lot of the games we played, we weren't really in situations where we were winning 3-0, and cruising, and could just throw them in, for funsies. So why not? I would do it. I would probably pull 3 of them. Whoever's looking the best, whoever's doing good down there, whoever's sort of asking the question, I guess. I'd probably bring 3 of them in for the next match and just play them. I would like to see them against Brighton. It's the Premier League match away from home. It's not tough. Brighton's a bit of a bogey team for us, and why not? Why not? So we'll see. We'll see. I think it'll be interesting. I probably expect the lineup is probably going to stay the same or similar. I think we'll start with our starting lineup. I don't know if they're going to really rest anybody. They don't really. I mean, like, listen, it's still a season, it's long, but they don't really need to do so because we played the least amount of matches. I mean, somebody for like Bruno and a couple of the other ones, like they are going to the World Cup, so they are going to play more football. Could you rest them for the next match? Sure. Why not? They could do that. I don't really expect that, but could happen. Could happen. Maybe they should. Maybe they should. Um, Renault said, I remember that low key. I'll allow it. Our fan base is pretty nasty when it wants to be good for her. Well, listen, yes, our fan base can be like that, but and sometimes I get very frustrated with our fan base. But I do love our fan base because on the flip side, our fan base can be very supportive as well, and our fan base can be very loving. And our fan base can be very you know behind you as well. So I do think, in a weird way, our fan base is balanced. Not all the time, but it balances itself out over a course of a period of time. Because there's times where we can be very nasty, and things are very bad, and you know, it becomes very toxic. But on the flip side, we've seen the support of there's times where the players didn't deserve, really, in my opinion, they did. Some others will say that they deserve no matter what because that's what the club does. But there's times based on performances and what they're giving us on the pitch, there was times where they didn't deserve to get clapped walking off the pitch. They didn't deserve some of the love that they were getting. We gave it to them anyway. So I think in that case we're very balanced. I think it somehow it works itself out usually. Fox says give Lacey, Tyler, Jack, and Obi some minutes. Give Twaits, Konkonki debuts off the bench too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think for me, I think for next match, I think we should do something like that. It is a free hit. I don't see why not. And I'm sure, they can make the excuse, well, there's preseason for that, but preseason isn't like this. It's not a Premier League match. It's preseason. And maybe they'll have their opportunities, but for me, it's just like, why not? Listen, Ineos, they want to develop youth. Manchester United, it's what we do. I think back to Fergie. If Fergie was here, I think he would probably do it. And it's sort of part of my philosophy. I mean, I know it's not real life, but like, when I play Football Manager or I play FIFA Career Mode, I do it because I'd be like, I got these kids. These are the future. You know what I mean? And I need them to grow. I need them to develop. So I'm going to give them some game time. And I think at some points during the season it was a bit tough to do so because we had a goal set in mind. And like I said, there was a lot of matches we played where they were close. We didn't really cruise any matches 3-4-0 and absolutely destroyed and dominated anybody. So now we're facing a match where it matters, but it doesn't matter. So why not? Why not? I'd like to see them get some game time. For me, I don't think there's really any reason not to. There's not really any good reason not to do so. So, and Carrick being a United legend and former player and being our manager, and he's got his kid, in the youth setup and stuff, and he cares about the youth as well. He's been watching them constantly, and he's been going to all the matches and stuff like that. I'd be a bit surprised if he doesn't do something like that for next match. I think it would be a bit of a wasted opportunity. So, Lemons, Mazawari, Heaven, Martinez, Shaw, Jack Fletcher, Maino Mount, Lacey, Fernandez, Dorgu, Sub, on Tyler, Obi, Kunkunki, Twaits, and Heaton. And I would be fine with that if we do something like that. I don't know if we'll do, to the full extent like that. It wouldn't be a bad team at all. And, it'd be a good mix as well. So, I just don't know if they're going to go that far. But you could very well do so again. Like, it is a free hit. Some of these players are going to go to the World Cup. You could rest them. You know, there's a couple players in there that we think they should be sold. So they have no future, or they shouldn't have any future. And you know, these kids here, they are the potential future. You know, and our hopes is one of them, at least one of them. You know, out of the couple that box is listed here, there's more, but you know, the hope is at least one of them is the next one up, is sort of like the next Mano, um, you know, or the next Rashford or whatever, somebody that will actually be able to use, and will sort of integrate themselves into the first team, for next season. You know, we have always at least one, at some point. So, um, Renosa says exactly. This chat is a smaller sample size of our fan base. We've literally got the Angel Lyle. You got the medium me, and then you got Hags. Yes, yes, yes. Um, listen, we have a good mix. We have a good mix. We do have a good mix. We got mediums. We got angels, and we've got the extremes. Okay. Um, so we do have a good mix. It is a nice little sample size. Because you are right. That is sort of the fan base in a nutshell. Um, Lucky says he wants Tushimeni. Amazing football. Technical, gifted eyes. Well, we'll see what we get. The preseason will be very productive for Carrick, as he'll have quite a big squad remaining at Carrington. Yeah, can you actually, because that's something I don't know, Box. Do you know? I guess it would be easier to list our players that are going to the World Cup, because I actually don't even know. Like, obviously, I know a couple of them. Like, I know Bruno's obviously going, and um, I guess Maguire's going. Maybe Shaw. Um, who's actually going, and who's not involved? Because I actually I don't know the full list. Um, Xerxes, Mason Mount, Patrick Dorgu, Shea Lacey, Lenny Yoro, Jack Fletcher. I am a true Red Devil in this chat, Renoso. Well, no, he didn't say you weren't. I don't think nobody said you weren't. Staying around. Onana, Eaton Shaw, Amos, Delit Heaven Euro, Fredrickson, Gore, Collier, Mount, Embuemo, Sesko, and Obi. Yeah. Well, Onana doesn't count, does he? You know, as far as I'm concerned, he's not a Manchester United player. But I guess technically he is. Um, is 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 Shaw definitely staying though, or like does he have a potential to still go? Because I know he was trying his hardest. Amos is staying for sure. We know that. The lid definitely staying. He's got injured. Heaven definitely not going as well. Euro hasn't broken into the first team in the French squad, which is very hard to do. He's still in the under 21s for the French squad. Fredrickson, Gore, Collier. I think Collier is gonna get sold. Mount is definitely not going with England. We know Embuemo is staying, and Sesko and Obi. And Xerxes, Dorgu, Lacey, Tyler Jack will be staying around too. Oh yeah, well Cunha's going with Brazil. Um, is Ivory Coast in it? I don't even know. Is Ivory Coast in it? So is Diallo going? Diallo's going to the World Cup. Um, training everyone in the pit, so when this channel will be big, hundreds of uncensored viewers will carry on. So Jesus, what's wrong with you? Relax, bro. This isn't an anime, my friend. Onana out, bro. This is Onana's going. Uh, Eric, I'm talking Kobe Manu, Harry Maguire, Dan Burn, Morgan Rogers to my England team. Taken, sorry. Well, we'll see. Listen, I'm ready for the World Cup now. I basically ignore all international for a while. You know what I mean? Because I like league football, but league football's over now, so now it's World Cup mode. So we'll be covering that. Um, I'm not gonna make a separate channel for that. We'll cover it on here. As we go along, obviously. Um, we'll be doing both. We'll be doing World Cup stuff. We'll be doing and we'll be doing United sort of transfer news and stuff like that. This summer is going to be sort of a good one. I'm going on vacation later than I usually do. So from now until basically like mid-July, we'll be running. And then mid-July, I'm going on vacation. So going back to Malta. So we're gonna end up going back into the settings that we went back into the previous 2 years or the previous 2 summers. But at least for the beginning of June and half of July, you know, we'll be doing it as many live content, as many discussions as we possibly can. I still have work schedule, so we're gonna have to go around that. But yeah, we'll make things happen. You know what I mean? We'll make things happen. Our friendship can overcome anything. Who are your favorites for the World Cup to win the World Cup? Probably Portugal. Uh Probably Portugal. Based on the squad, based on the team, I think Portugal uh has the best squad. I don't like Roberto Martinez as a manager, and that's probably the one, I don't know, fault or whatever of their team. But sometimes you have such a good enough team, the manager, especially for like a World Cup competition, might not. They've done well anyway under him, but he's not my cup of tea. Um, but probably Portugal. I think Portugal will be in the final at the very least, and then you know I don't know how the brackets is set up, but Spain or France, um, probably versus them in a final. So Ollie Watkins, Marcus Rashford, Dan Morgan Rogers, Harry Maguire, Kobe Manu. These guys should play main team international England. Well, I'll be supporting England, like I usually do, but I think England could do pretty good as well. I don't know if they'll get to the final. It could be England versus Portugal, but I don't know. England has the curse. I don't know what you guys did. I don't know what you guys did, but England has the curse. England is cursed. There's always something, somehow, some bullshit, no matter what team England has, that it looks like, and somehow it just implodes one way or another, or some disaster on the pitch happens, and then it comes to a halt. So I don't know, but Tuchel is there, and I think England have a good squad, and they could make. I could see them going to the semifinals at the very least, but I do think that the fix is in a little bit for Portugal as well. I mean, Ronaldo came here. He was with Infantino, Donald Trump, and the head of Saudi Arabia, and they all sat down at a dinner, and they were all hanging out. And I'm not even mad. I think, listen, you fixed and rigged one for Messi, so you got to fix and rig one for Portugal. You got to fix and rig one for Ronaldo. It's only right. So if it's fixed and rigged for Portugal, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. You got to give him one. Got to give him one before he goes. Spain and France would be my betting favorites, then Argentina, England, Portugal, Brazil. I will support Canada until the end. Why Canada? Are you, do you have Canadian ties? Really, is that a passionate guess or a logical one? I'd like to see Ronaldo lifted so the Messi fans concede. But Spain will dominate force, I think. Um, no, it's not a passionate one. I think you know, I think the players that Portugal have, I mean, the team that they have is like they have crazy amounts of players, depth, and they all have good quality. You know, again, for me, Roberto Martinez is sort of the iffy thing in that squad, but I think Portugal has a very very good team, very good team, and they've been performing pretty well. So I think they can. I think they have a really good chance of doing it. Spain is a good team as well. Um, so they could win it. But Yanzo says, sign all action midfielder Elliot Anderson, second coming of Roy Keane, both from Nottingham Forest before joining Man United. Problem is, he is too expensive. Just being hopeful. Yeah, he might be a bit too expensive for. I mean, it really depends on the owner of Nottingham Forest. You know, that guy isn't an easy guy to deal with, as we've publicly seen. I mean, if you want any indication, look at what happened with Nuno and the way that situation was held and the way that he handled that. You know what I mean? That guy is not an easy guy to deal with. He is a difficult person. Yeah, and he owns that club, and he will be the one at the forefront of that transfer. And you know for a fact he's gonna ask for the most money. Whether that's 120 million, I wouldn't be surprised if he asked for 140 million. Now, whether he bargains down from there and takes some sort of a lower fee, but this guy, I'm expecting him to make that transfer a pain in the ass, and one that we probably could get priced out of. So, and also, we still have a job to do to convince Elliot Anderson to pick us over City. So, which time is sort of running out on that. So I don't know. You know, Chad says Germany. I don't think Germany has a very good team. I mean, John Nagelsmann is there, and I think they've gotten a bit better. But I don't think Germany has. They're a decent side, but I think you could probably list like at least 4 or 5 teams that are probably better than. My friends, we've been to finals. Darren Bent referred to England as Spursy, but that was before Spurs won the Europa League. No. They didn't win the Europa League. We gifted it to them as a charity because we felt very bad for them, and we were giving to the less fortunate. You know, we were doing community service. Okay, they didn't win it. They were handed it. Make football great again with Ronnie lifting the World Cup. I have no Canadian ties. I support the underdog. Okay, fair enough. Then support Uzbekistan. Why don't you support Malta? We're the underdog. We're the underdog in every game we ever play. Always, at all times. We can't even. We could barely win a game. Where's the support from my country? My other country. I got like 3 countries. Now some people get confused. They support England, okay, and they're like, "But you're American. How do you support England?" They get all fucking mad at me. All right, listen, don't worry about it. No, but the thing is, so as a Maltese person, number one, our country is never in it, so we can't support that. Obviously, we have nothing to support. They're never in it. So the people of Malta, they typically support it's 1 or 2 countries. It's either England or Italy. Italy because obviously it's right there, and there's some ties to that. England because one, a lot of us are friends of Premier League teams. Two, Malta used to be some sort of a British colony, and we have some sort of like ties with, England. We have history. So but my grandfather served on the served in the British Royal Navy as well, and my father grew up, or whatever, supporting England, and I grew up supporting England as well internationally. So I do support England. I have England jerseys upstairs, which is always a hard thing growing up as an American kid, because the typical Americans, okay, they don't support England. So you try and tell them that one. I support the USA obviously as well, but I'm realistic about shit. The USA ain't gonna win. Nothing. I mean, I hope they do as good as possible, but they ain't got it. I like to see the US play, hopefully, maybe some decent football. I mean, in the past, what was it? The last competition I watched them play, it was still shit. Like, it was still basic. Like, they were playing a style of, like, get the ball, kick it to the corner, run to the corner, and whip it across. And they weren't very good at that. So, I don't know. Hopefully Poch can make them play at least some decent football. That Portugal midfield is good as it gets. I mean, if you run down the squad, the list of players they have, that squad is crazy. It's stacked to the brim of players. We'll see. We'll see. Listen, I'll enjoy it watching the US. Appreciate it, Lucky. Michael Mifsud, yeah. The legend. The legend. And I think the other one is Teddy Tuma. He plays in the French league. He's probably the best one. Michael Mifsud was he was the top guy for a while, but I think there's a guy named Teddy Tuma. He still plays in League One. He's probably the one that's I'm not gonna say he is the best, but he's done the best, because Michael Mifsud never played in I think a top 5 league. He played in the championship, but Teddy Tuma, at least he's been playing in League One for a few years now. So that's like a massive accomplishment for us. What group are you in? I don't even know. I don't even know. That's what I'm saying. I got to start doing my. I'm honest. Like, I haven't really been paying attention to any of like the international stuff, because it's just how I operate. So I don't even know. But I'm gonna, get versed up on everything. And because I don't even know what the groups look like. I mean, I didn't really pay too much attention to when they put it out. I know a lot of people have been hyped about that, but I sort of am like, just like, I focus on one thing at a time. I was like, listen, I got the Premier League season going on in Manchester United. I'm focused on that. Like, my friends have been talking about the World Cup for like months now. I'm like, I don't even want to have that discussion. Well, I'll talk about it when we get there. I'll give my attention to it when we get there. We're pretty much here now. So, but I don't even know. I mean, I could look real quick, but FIFA World Cup standings: Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, and Czechs is Group A. Canada, Bosnia, Qatar, and Switzerland, Group B. Brazil, Morocco, Haiti, and Scotland, Group C. Group D is USA, Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey. Yeah, I mean, listen, the US should be able to beat Paraguay. You should be able to beat Australia as well. And even Turkey. I mean, Turkey's a tough team, but the US should be able to listen. The US is not the team that's that amazing, but we should be able to get out of that group. Then there's Germany. Who is Caraco? Curacao. I don't even know what country that is. Which now I sound a bit hypocritical because that's what people say about my country. But this is one country, and I know a lot of countries, but I've never heard of this country. What is this country? Where is this country? I didn't even know that this country was a thing. No, I'm gonna have to Google that later. So real quick, out of all the groups, I mean, I don't even know really. I don't know. Group A is a weird group. I guess say Mexico and South Korea, maybe Czechs. How does this go, by the way? Is it 3 teams are coming out of here? Is it 3 teams are coming out of the groups? And not 2? It used to be 2, no? Did they change it? Did they change? Because see, I don't know. I don't be paying attention to this stuff. Is it 3 teams in each group come out of the group? Oh no. Okay. Wait. Hold on. I see. All right. All right. Wait. So Group A has 3 teams. Oh, let me see this. Playoffs. 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 So Group A gets 3 teams. Group B gets 3 teams. Group C only gets 2. Group D gets 3. Group E gets 3. Group F gets 3. G gets 3. H gets 2. I gets 2. J gets 3. K gets 3. And L gets 2. I don't even understand why is that? Coefficient? I don't even really know. Top 2 qualify in every group, and the 8 best third places qualify. Okay, interesting. Well, I didn't even know it was like that, but now I know. All right. So there's Group A. There's 3. So I think I mean, I'm sorry if Lyle's still watching. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know if South Africa is gonna make it out of there. If I'm gonna pick Group A, I would say not what I want, but what I think. Mexico, South Korea, and Czechs. I don't know if South Africa is gonna get out of there. I don't know who is on South Africa. I don't know what kind of players they got. But traditionally Mexico tend to do okay sometimes, in South Korea and even Czech Republic. Group B, Canada's they got to get out of there. Probably Bosnia and probably Switzerland. I doubt Qatar will make it out of there. Brazil, Morocco, and Scotland and Haiti is a bit of a difficult one there. I mean, Brazil should get out of there. If Brazil doesn't get out of there, that's, kind of a disgrace. But Carlo's there, and they got a decently good squad as well. So Brazil, and then I think between Scotland and Morocco, that's going to be interesting. USA has 3, so we should be getting out of there. I would say USA, Australia, and Turkey. And then Paraguay, no. Germany should be getting out of there as well. Ivory Coast, Germany, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador. I don't think Curacao, or whatever the name is. I don't think they'll get out of there. Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Tunisia. While I think the Netherlands, Japan, and Sweden, and Tunisia will exit. Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. Belgium should be getting out of there. Egypt should be getting out of there. And then I think Iran will get out of there over New Zealand. I don't think New Zealand will go through. You got Spain, Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. I would say there's only 2 spots there, so I would say Spain and Uruguay. You would expect to get out of there. I could see maybe Saudi Arabia somehow if Uruguay isn't that good. But I think Spain is definitely getting out of there for sure. France, Senegal, Iraq, and Norway. Definitely France. And then I don't know, probably Senegal. Maybe Norway. Somehow, some way. I don't think Iraq will. Probably Senegal or Senegal. But maybe somehow Norway do a bit of a surprise. Argentina, Algeria, Austria, and Jordan. Well, definitely Argentina. And then I expect Austria and Algeria, and I don't think Jordan will go through. And Portugal, DR Congo, Uzbekistan, and Colombia. Portugal's definitely going through. I think Colombia should. I would think Colombia would be going through over DR Congo or Uzbekistan. And then I don't know about the third spot because I don't know, and I don't know much about DR Congo or Uzbekistan. But Uzbekistan all the way. And then England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. England should be going through, and that is a bit tough. I mean, Panama's not. I know it's Panama, but they put up a bit of a fight. Those guys. England should go through, and then I think it should be between Croatia and Ghana. I would probably say maybe Croatia. Edges through. They're always a difficult country to play. They've been a difficult country for a while, so I don't know. We'll see. There's a Maltese guy in Notts County called Jody Jones. I don't know about him, but he might be. I think he's not like full Maltese, because Jones is not a Maltese name, so he's probably part Maltese, part English, which is nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, Jody Jones. I never heard of him, but look into him. But Jones is definitely. I would assume from that the father is English, and the mother is Maltese. So, and I would also assume that probably born in England and grew up in England, but Maltese nationality. So, like me, but I'm the U.S. version. And both my parents are from there. So, U.S. I think Turkey topped the group. Yildiz and Goli are hot prospects. Well, that's true. Okay, fair enough. I mean, they do have young, hot prospects. Curacao used to be known as Netherlands and Antilles, Caribbean island. Still never heard of that. Listen, I know a lot more countries than the average American because of football and stuff like that. But I couldn't even. I didn't even know where they were on the map. Never heard of them. Top 2 yeah, we did that one. So the 12th, 4th place teams are eliminated, and the 4th worst 3rd place sides are eliminated, which leaves 32 teams left. All right, interesting. Access Canada will win the World Cup. Now you sound like my friend that lives in Toronto, who is delusional. Who is delusional when it comes to his teams. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not like that. I don't let my emotion take over my beliefs. Um, but he does the same. You know, like he thinks Canada is gonna do something special. I'm like, dude, you do understand that you're not gonna win the thing, right? You do understand that, but he doesn't talk about it like he does. So yeah, I mean, Canada wins World Cup would be. I mean, it would be amazing because that would be crazy. But I think they don't have any chance of doing such a thing. Um, they could do decently well, you know, up until a certain point. But I don't think Canada stands a chance. Just like I don't think the U.S. stands a chance, really, in the ultimate, you know, thing. Um, and a few other countries out there that they don't really stand the chance. They could go decently far to a certain point, but at some point, I expect, you know, especially the host nations, like I expect Canada to go out at some point. I expect the U.S. to go out at some point, and I expect Mexico to go out at some point. Like I don't think these guys are really gonna make it. I don't expect to see any of those three teams. Let's just say in the semifinals. So, at best, quarterfinals for all three of those teams. I don't expect them to go in the semifinals. I don't expect to see any of them in the final. Italy, Poland, Denmark, Russia, Ukraine, Wales, Ireland, Serbia, Greece, Slovakia, Slovenia, Chile, Peru, Costa Rica, Nigeria, Cameroon, all missed out. Yeah, yeah, weird. Because usually Italy is there. I mean, they haven't been there for like a while now, but typically throughout our time, Italy's been there. Poland, Denmark, Russia, um, Ukraine, and Wales, Ireland. I mean, all these teams are usually they used to be in there. Um, on the regular. Is it the second time or the third time? I think Italy hasn't. Italy's been. I don't know what's happened to them, man. They've really fallen off, which is quite crazy because I mean, it's all they got. Really, they got pasta, pizza, little cappuccino. Probably smoke a cigarette on the street, type of thing. You know, they love their cigarettes over there, and then they got football. Um, it's just really weird to watch Italy like fall off like that. I don't know what's going on there. Like they don't produce. It's like weird that they don't produce like youth. You know, they got a couple kids, but it's like I don't know what's happened to their footballing system in their country. It seems like it's just gone down. Like when you think back, I don't know, 20, 25 years ago, the players that were Italians, the legends that were coming out of there and that we had. And you go to now and they got some good players, but it just seems like the factory of producing like these young talented players, like these like they're missing superstars, aren't they? Like they don't really have any to a certain extent, especially like not what they used to have. So I don't know why I don't know what's happened exactly for that to happen, but um yeah, they've sort of lost it as a whole, as a country. I mean, the Serie A is one that's like, it's like a retirement home right now. Um, to a certain degree. But on top of that, it's like, you know, you guys aren't producing. You guys used to produce some insane players. You know, now maybe you're producing some good players, but you ain't producing anybody that's close to being best in the world. You used to have best in the world, Pirlo and Del Piero and, you know, fucking Cannavaro, and now what? I don't know what's happened there. Yeah, I don't know what happened to them. I don't know what happened to them. All right, before we get out of here, because we've been live for 2 hours now. All right, let's just check in any of the news, if we got any other news. Uh, bu- 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 Michael Carrick was asked about how to get past a hurdle. He said, evolving the group, that's one thing, that's for sure. If that involves reinforcements, then it will be reinforcements. It definitely does involve reinforcements. Some of the young players will improve. We want to do better, but there's no miracle recipe for getting there. It's hard work, a bit of common sense and intelligence, as well as good players. I agree. I think it's a good answer. I think it is the answer. Ex-PGMOL chief Keith Hackett has slammed the decision in the Brian and Mbeumo handball controversy against Forest, blasting officials and claiming the goal should never have stood. Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe you need to be not ex PGMOL chief, because listen, not just today and not just in our game, but they are a fucking disaster everywhere for the entire season, for the whole league. So, you know, I don't know who's running this shit right now, but they should probably lose their job. And somebody else should probably come in that's obviously more competent and has a clearer, cleaner plan, and fix the shit, because clearly it's a mess. Like what we're saying, like last week or the week before, when Arsenal conceded that goal, and the reason why people had a problem with it, and you can't tell this to an Arsenal fan because they'll just cry. Everybody hates us. But the reason why people had a problem with it is because Arsenal were basically abusing the goalkeeper all season from set pieces, and none of those things were called fouls. And then it happens against them at the end of the season in a period where it could determine the title, and it benefits them. So the rule from the first game of the season to like the second to last game of the season or third game of the season, it changed. But it didn't change fast enough. You did basically a whole season and then decided to change it in one of the last games of the season. It's not even like you changed it midway through with a bunch of games left to play. You changed it right there and then on the pitch, which is why people have a problem with it. So, you know, I've been saying, and everybody else been saying, to me, you can't do the shit that they were doing this season. You can't do that. Like that to me it cannot be part of the game. You cannot abuse the goalkeeper. You cannot physically abuse the goalkeeper. You can't do the things they were doing. That should be a foul. It was always a foul until they decided that this season that it's not foul. And then, you know. But that's just one part. I mean, the inconsistencies on bookings, red cards, penalties, and non-penalties, everything. Handballs. It's been a disaster. It's been an absolute disaster. For me, whoever's in charge, because I don't even know who it is, but whoever's in charge of that thing, they should probably lose their job because it's not being directed and it's not being run properly, right? It's a mess. It's a mess. So whoever's in charge, they clearly don't have their shit together, because otherwise then we wouldn't be seeing so many of these poor decisions. It wouldn't be run like shit. So they should lose their job. They should lose their job. They should be replaced with somebody that has a clearer plan and is definitely more confident, more competent. Set out the guidelines, make it the law before the season starts. Be quite clear about it, public about it. Set the standard from the very beginning of the season, and make it clear what is what and which is which. It seems like every week we're guessing what the rules are. It seems like nobody actually really knows, and it seems to change on a match-to-match basis. You can't have that. It needs to be set, and that's it. And you set it from the beginning of the season. You go all the way through the end of the season with it. If you need to make adjustments or changes, you do it after the season is over. But I don't like this thing where they change things in the middle of the season either. So, Natasha's here. Hi, Eric. How are things? Did you watch the Eurovision? I see Bulgaria won. No, I don't watch Eurovision, but I know Malta was there, and they did not win. But it's okay. We never win anything, so that's the one thing that I know for sure. That's why I don't really follow it as well. All the people from my country, they get super excited. They watch Eurovision. They like that sort of thing. I'm not really a fan of that anyway, but they get all excited because they think they're gonna win something, and I'm like, you guys just never learn, man. You never learn. Never learn. You never learn. You never learn. We've been here before. How many times have we won something? 0. And then you think we're gonna do it. One day we'll do it, but when we'll do it, I don't know. I hear Maresca to Man City this summer is gathering momentum, maybe, but I don't know. I think I don't think Pep is gonna leave. So, you think I think Pep will be here one more season at least. All right, Eric, I got a game. Have a good one, everyone. All right, be good. Well, I'll be back live tomorrow. All right, 8:15 p.m. UK, same time we usually go live at. Yeah, I'm gonna try and go live Monday, and Tuesday. Wednesday won't be able to do so, and Thursday probably won't be able to do so either. And then we'll be probably free Friday, and I believe, as far as I know right now, Saturday and Sunday. Again, like, my bad, but the my work that I'm doing right now, there's no like set schedule, so it's hard to. I never even know like how many days I'm working, or what time I'm working at. I usually find out like the day of, or at least like the day before. So the scheduling has been all over the place. So yeah. Baba says 3 midfielders, 1 winger, 1 fullback, 1 striker, Mateta free, 1 centre back, Sensi free. 7 signings is realistic if Ineos are competent. Well, you know what? Fair enough. Fair play. Fair play. Fair play. That would be a way that we can get more than 5, which is what I asked for. And what I think we need, and it's a actually a very good point. I mean, there are something I didn't talk about and I wasn't thinking about. Like, bro, there are guys out there that are free agents. They're not going to cost us money. So I think we could do 5 with spending money. And I don't think we'll be able to, with the amount that we need to spend, I don't think we'll be able to sign over 5. I think it might get a little bit tight, but I think it's doable to get 5. And we definitely need 3 midfielders. And we could use, players in basically almost, a winger, a fullback, a striker, a center back. We could use a couple players in a couple different positions. So, but you know what? You're right. Like, I would say Vinio's not even competent, but I think that's where that separates the elite level a little bit from, I guess, just okay or good. Is doing something like that, signing a player or 2 for free. Like Mateta's free and Sensi's free. If you sign those guys on a free, it gives us the depth. They have the quality. We're not paying transfer fees for them, although it still costs us some type of money. So they're not totally free, but free from a transfer fee. But sometimes signing the player on the free it's actually more expensive in a certain way. So sometimes. So I mean, money will still be spent, but it's just not going to come directly out of that budget for this year. But yeah, I know if you look it up, because the finances for football are weird. It's accounting bullshit, like business bullshit. I don't know the way it gets like totaled. I think the agents ask for higher fees. The players ask for higher wages when you don't have to pay a transfer fee. So, it might not hit you that hard the first season, but when you're doing the books over the next, whatever it is, 3, 4, 5 years, it does come out of the budget somewhere. I don't know. Slot sacked and Nagelsmann to Liverpool. You think so? Have you ever been to Bulgaria? No. Mateta is free. Yes. Yes. Mateta is free and Sensi is free. And there's probably a couple other players out there that I don't know, but I will probably get a list of who is a free agent on the next show. So tomorrow or something like that. All right, we're getting out of here. Okay. Let's just check the scores before we get out of here. Brentford Palace tied 2-2. 90th minute. Match is about to end. Everton lost 1-3 at home to Sunderland. Leeds are winning 1-0 to Brighton in the 90th minute. Wolves and Fulham drew 1-1. Live look at the table, I guess. We are obviously in third, 68. And we cannot move from there, so we're locked in. Okay. City on 77 points and Arsenal on 79, and we're going to see what happens with that. Villa's on 62 in 4th. Liverpool are in 5th on 59th. Bournemouth, they need to play tomorrow. Bournemouth are on 55 points. Okay, if they win, they'll have 58, and they'll be 1 point off of Liverpool, and that difference would make between Champions League and Europa League, because City winning the FA Cup has now opened up an 8th place to the Conference League. So Bournemouth on 55, and Bournemouth is basically the only team that can send Liverpool down, out of Champions League and into Europa League. Brighton, right now, 53 points in 7th place, which is another Europa League spot, and then Brentford in 8th, which is a Conference League spot on 52 points. Sunderland on 51, and Chelsea on 49 in 10th. Chelsea. So yeah, I mean, Chelsea, depending what they do in the next game, because they only have 36 matches played, they look set like they're not going to make Europe. I would like Sunderland to make it into Europe somehow. They have one match left. They're on 51 points, so they could kind of sneak in there. It's going to be interesting last week or weekend of matches. A lot of stuff to play for. So how am I? I'm okay. I'm good. How are you doing? I do have to go though. X is okay. Good night. Glazed out. Yep. Okay. Sorry I missed the show. Okay, if you are going. Okay. Yeah, I'm going. It's okay. We'll be back live tomorrow. All right. So everybody be good. Stay safe. I need to go get a haircut because I'm a mess, as you can see. So yeah, I gotta go get a haircut. I gotta go take care of a couple other things. So I'm gonna go do that. GGMU, happy with the 3 points, happy finishing third. And good day, good weekend, and we've had a good season. We got one match left. We expect Michael Carrick to be announced as the manager in probably the next week or so. I don't know if they'll do it before the last game or they'll wait for the last game and then we'll get the confirmation. Speculation is that it should be coming in the next couple of days. We'll find out. Obviously, when that happens, we'll be live at some point for it. Okay. So everybody take care. We'll be back live tomorrow, 8:15 p.m. UK. Other than that, take care. Thank you for the support. Thank you for smashing the like button. If you're new and you subscribed, thank you. Make sure you hit the notification bell icon so you get notified when we go live. And we'll see each other and speak with each other tomorrow.